No hints, no schedule, no sudden post. This whole story started in complete quiet. While everything on the surface seemed still, Jimin was spending long, hidden hours inside the rehearsal studio. He wasn't there for filming or content, but purely for himself, working on something he still hasn't really talked about. Late at night, when most of the building was dark, the lights in one practice room stayed on. From the hallway, staff occasionally glimpsed a lone figure through the glass, endlessly repeating moves, correcting his breathing, refining tiny details in his expression. There was no blasting track, no applause, just the rhythm of his footsteps and steady breaths, like he was having a serious conversation with himself. At some point, it stopped feeling like regular practice and began to look like a quiet promise he'd made to his own standards. Jungkook stumbled onto this by chance. He had gone back to grab something he'd forgotten and happened to look toward the studio. When he saw Jimin inside, he didn't walk in or call his name. He just stopped and stayed where he was, watching from behind the glass as if one word might shatter the focus Jimin had built. That's where the moment that later melted army actually took place, not with dramatic speeches, but with expression. Jungkook's lips lifted into a small smile, followed by a long, controlled sigh. His eyes held a kind of quiet pride, not loud or showy, but full of emotion he didn't try to put into words, as if he'd suddenly realized how much effort Jimin had always kept hidden. Inside the room, Jimin still didn't know anyone was watching. His face was serious but not stiff, the look of someone trying to live up to a standard he set as an artist and as a member of BTS, not as a performer chasing praise. When he finally finished and noticed Jungkook there, he didn't panic or get embarrassed. He gave a quick glance and a small, almost shy smile that seemed to say, "I'm still working on it." Jungkook didn't rush to comment. He just nodded slowly, as if to say he understood everything without needing an explanation. Once ARMY heard about what happened, the story spread because it felt so honest, not orchestrated. Many fans said it took them back to BTS's early days, when the hardest work happened in empty rooms while the world only saw the polished result. In the middle of pressure, projects, and constant eyes on them, Jimin chose to return to the basics. Practice, not to prove anything to anyone, but to make sure that when he moves forward, he does it with sincerity and readiness. Jungkook's reaction wasn't about suddenly realizing Jimin is impressive on stage. He's known that for years. His admiration deepened because he saw the process up close, saw someone already at the top still choosing to push himself quietly. After that night, Jimin's energy seemed lighter but more focused, and during one group rehearsal, he used the same moves he'd drilled alone. Jungkook recognized them instantly, couldn't help but smile, and gave a tiny nod that cameras happened to catch, another small moment ARMY replayed over and over. For many fans, Jimin's silent practice and Jungkook's amazed, wordless support became a symbol of where BTS is now, no longer driven just by outside expectations, but by an inner desire to keep growing and stay true to their music, their bond, and themselves.